Hey guys, it's Tomatoda. So I posted a Mod Podge peeling video on my Instagram a while ago and I received a lot of questions about it. I tried my best to answer those questions, but I think it's better to visually show you guys instead. I forgot to film footage for this part, so here's some shit drawings. Basically, I'm using Mod Podge to serve the same function as liquid latex on resin. When you dome a piece and epoxy resin spills over to the unprotected backside, it ruins it because now you have unwanted resin attached to it, right? But by adding a layer of Mod Podge, you've created a protective barrier. So if the resin does spill over, you can easily remove it when you peel off the Mod Podge. That means no more sanding, no more crying, and no more sadness. It saves you time, stress, and work. The reason why I use Mod Podge is because it's something I already have at home, and this video is just to demonstrate how it's an alternative to liquid latex. I've never used liquid latex, I don't own any, and I personally don't have anything against it. I know there's like controversy around it, I guess. Also, people have told me that Elmer's glue works the same as well, but I've never tried that either. But if you guys don't have Mod Podge or liquid latex, experiment with Elmer's glue, Crafting is about trial and error. So the Mod Podge I use is the glossy kind in the orange bottle. It's the cheapest one here, and I think it was like $1 for this specific bottle. I'm going to prepare my materials. This stand is originally for nails, but I use it to hold up my crafts, as you will see soon. Stick some double-sided tape and stick on the pieces you want to dome. The side you want protected should be facing up. If you're afraid that the double-sided tape might peel off your artwork, just dab it with your skin so it becomes less sticky. Also, I'm folding the tape around in order to avoid the edges of the resin pieces. I'm sticking Dom on this cap because he's a thick boy. Get your flat paintbrush ready and load some Mod Podge onto it. When you brush it on, use a light hand so it goes on thick and not streaky. Typically, I like to start with the sides first. So Lobo here has a lot of sharp angles. It might help to use a smaller brush, which I did not do. Pieces that have a lot of corners and angles like this are the most time-consuming and difficult to work with, in my opinion. They also result in the most resin spills, but try to coat everything evenly and thickly with the Mod Podge, and avoid getting any of it on the front. I know there's black paint on the sides, but I don't like to remove them until after the doming has cured, and you guys will see that later. After the sides, I start working on the back. And at this point, you can just pour a chunk of Mod Podge directly on there and just spread it around. Remember, thick and even, like how I wish my eyebrows were. Here, the Mod Podge pulled up too much, so I'm going to relocate it to the back. Just personally, I get paranoid if that happens, because if it collects too much in one area, it'll spill to the front of the resin piece, which is what, we want to avoid. Bea, or Bea, or whatever her name is, she is a lot rounder compared to Lobo, so the coating is much more satisfying and quicker to do. After everything on the side and the back has been covered, it's time to let these dry. It probably depends on the temperature or like what kind of environment you're in, but for me, these take several hours to dry because it's really thick, so I leave them overnight. When everything is completely dry, it'll be clear, clear, clear. I'm going to use a Q-tip with some acetone to remove a few fingerprints that I accidentally smudged onto the surface, because if you see my other videos, you know I'm paranoid about resin pulling away. I should have used gloves. Anyways, time to get doming. My video filming table is slanted, so I'm gonna stick a stick to level it out. Mix your epoxy resin as usual. I'm gonna add a little bit of glitter, but that's optional, and start doming. I won't get into the specifics of doming because I'm sure there's a lot of other videos about it already, so go watch those. And as predicted, the doming on Lobo has spilled already. all the resin on the corners actually fell off. I keep an eye out for pieces like these every 30 minutes, so I can cover up the empty spots with all the resin that fell off. It sucks, but it happens to me often when the shapes have a lot of corners. If you guys know how to prevent this, please tell me in the comments what you typically do and what's worked for you. I'd much appreciate it. After the doming is cured, peel off the Mod Podge. See all this area? This is all resin. This is my most favorite part, hee hee hee. To remove the extra paint on the sides, I'm using acetone on a cotton swab to wipe it off. I like to do this part after the doming is completed so I don't accidentally wipe off the paint on the front because, you know, all that hard work, right? The Q-tip won't fit in some of the more narrow areas, so what I like to do is rip off a piece of the swab, dip it in acetone, and floss. For the more shallow but narrow areas, using tweezers works fine, but the deeper corners will need flossing, in my experience, okay? And that's it. I hope showing you guys visually made more sense than what I tried to write on Instagram. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Thanks for watching, guys. Bye.